Call this meeting to order. If everybody please stand.
Like Scoodle, tennis balls.
Vice Mayor, if you lead us in a prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you've given us. Thank you for your many blessings. Remember those this Thanksgiving season, Lord, that doesn't have family and friends to call home. Keep a look over the homeless population during this cold weather that is about to hit us in the next couple of months. We ask all these things in your precious holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Patrick.
Here.
Alderman Cross.
Here.
Alderman Shugart.
here.
Alderman Benstock.
Here.
Alderman Gillum.
Here.
Vice Mayor Bear.
Here.
Mayor Gibson.
Here. Just want to welcome everybody for coming out tonight, and we'll just go ahead and roll right into getting started with entertaining the motion for approval and correction of the minutes of the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting dated October 23rd, 2025, monthly financial report and department reports.
I make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Alderman Shugart, second by Alderman Benstock. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we'll move on to number 2 or 7 there. Approval and correction of the minutes of the Board of Mayor and Alderman special called meeting dated November 4th, 2025.
I make a motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Shugart, second by Alderman Benstock. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Visitors' comments. Does anybody want to make a comment? We'll move on then to item A, discussion and first reading of ordinance 25-543 budget amendment. Entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Alderman Shugart. Motion by Alderman Benstock, second by Alderman Shugart. That's now on the floor for discussion.
I'll give you the overview of the budget amendment for the general fund and the sewer fund. This is the first amendment we've had to do this year, and it covers some grants that we received that we were not expecting, some revenues that we've received that we were not expecting, and then some adjustments to some expenses that were either over budget or not planned for during budget time earlier in the year. I've listed some of those highlights there on your legislative memorandum. Some of the major things would be the fire department selling the ladder truck, an additional $28,000, and we're putting that money back into their equipment budget. And then we received some grant revenue. We're allocating $85,000 for the recycling development site. We're allocating $45,000 to the recreation budget for equipment and internet and surveillance. We have had some vandalism, and then we've had some other adjustments. And we are taking out the FEMA grant that Mitch talked about a few months ago. Because of the cumbersome process to apply for that, we decided against that. So we're taking that out of budget. And then on the sewer side, we're increasing our revenue because we changed the sewer fee. We're expecting more income from that, and we're also expecting more interest earnings due to some investments that I'll talk about here in a little while. And then we've had some unexpected expenses on the residential pumps. We've already spent $51,000 this year, and we did not plan for that during the budget season. And the last thing is paying off the principal of the loan that we discussed at the workshop. That has to be budgeted in order for us to do it, so that's just more of a formality.
So nothing about improving hiring law enforcement until next fiscal year?
Correct. The difference between these funds and those funds that you're talking about are recurring versus one-time expenses.
Right.
So,
And we're still working through filling vacancies that we already have to get up to the number that we budgeted for last year. So we're still in that process, and within 2 months, give or take, we will be planning for 26-27.
Any other discussion on this? I do have one question, Tyler. With the pretty sure I know the answer, but we'll make sure the addition for the recycling development add-on there, that's basically, with this, we're just looking at budgeting the money. This wouldn't authorize the project, is that correct?
This would allocate the money, and it's the contract or the memorandum of understanding with the county is coming up as a separate
It'd
item.
be that's kind of like that
And
agreement and all of that would be more additional, okay. I would
right,
think
and
there's
the project is not a turnkey one
right, that's
and
what,
done. It's
that's
a
what I figured that
multi-phase.
would take with multiple,
But this is putting the money there so we can start to move forward with that.
gotcha. That answered my question for that. Everybody good before we do a vote?
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Cross,
Yes.
Alderman Schugert,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock,
No.
Alderman Gillum,
No.
Vice Mayor Bear,
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Yes. Motion carries. Moving to item number B, discussion and consideration resolution 25-663, participation in PEP cybersecurity grant. Entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion by Alderman Sugar, second by Alderman Benstock. Floor is open for discussion on that.
This is a resolution that allows us to participate in the cybersecurity grant, which is funded by Public Entity Partners, which is our insurance carrier. This is a lot like the grant that we went through a few months ago to get reimbursed for some of the security measures here physically. These are more cybersecurity issues. It allows us to get up to $1,000 reimbursement for some of our IT costs.
Up to $1,000, did you say?
$1,000, yes.
Any other discussion on that? Roll call.
Alderman Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Cross,
Yes.
Alderman Schugert,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock,
Yes.
Alderman Gillum, Vice Mayor Bear,
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Yes. Moves into item number C, discussion and consideration resolution 25-664, 2026 community outreach event schedule.
Make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion by Alderman Sugar, second by Alderman Benstock. Floor is open for discussion on that. Attached in the trailer.
It's the
Okay,
dates
I see.
as discussed at the workshop that
Yep.
were provided from the
Yes.
committee.
With the Easter egg hunt being on March 28th, the Nerf War being on May 16th, Independence Day on July 4th, the Back to School Splash being on August 8th, Fall Festival September 26th, Halloween October 30th, Christmas tree lighting November 30th, Christmas parade the 12th, and the center run the 19th.
Any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move us into item number D, discussion and consideration MOU with Sullivan County Solid Waste for recycling containers.
Make a motion.
A motion by Alderman Sugar,
Second.
second by Alderman Benstock. Floor is open for discussion on that.
So this is a memorandum of understanding that would allow us to collaborate with Sullivan County Solid Waste. Jason and I met with the director of Sullivan County Solid Waste back in October and had a discussion about this. They're wanting to expand their regional efforts to do recycling. So under this program, they will give us recycling containers. We have to maintain them. We have to maintain a space to house them, but they will come and retrieve those containers, empty them, and bring them back once a week. So it's something we can offer to our residents at no cost, recurring cost to us. The only cost it's going to be for us is to prepare a site for it to be proper service to the community.
And that's what we voted for in the budget amendment.
That was allocating those funds
Yep.
for that project. We intend to use the lot between the police station and Cherry Street because we own that property. It's not currently being used, and we will come out with a separate entrance off Cherry Street so that it does not impede the operations at the fire department and police department.
All right, one question I do have about the location of that, and would you be feeding traffic into it, like creating an issue with school traffic at times?
You could potentially have that issue, but I would imagine that the traffic at the recycling area would be more of a trickle during the day rather than a huge
A
rush.
huge rush at one time. I would
And you
agree
may
with
have a
that.
lot of weekend traffic.
Right.
So I don't foresee it being an issue, but you never know how it's going to turn out.
Well,
That could be.
How about the other way around, school traffic parking there, before school?
Say again, please.
School traffic parking, we had a mess a long time ago with their school traffic parking in different places. Wouldn't I just give them another place to park at?
That really hasn't been a problem since the new.
Well, they haven't got a place yet.
But that's being enforced
I
almost
mean,
daily.
They could potentially try to use that as parking, but they would basically be blocking themselves in and not be able to get out. So I don't, like, again, I can't say for
Yeah.
certain, but it's probably not likely.
Is it going to be closed off on the weekends, or is it going to be open when Public Works is open?
There's not going to be a gate. I mean, it's not going to be manned. It's going to be available.
It's just kind of like a park.
Right. It's just there as a resource. There's not going to be a closed or open gate.
Okay.
But we do intend to put a fence around it with privacy screens, all the proper measures.
Right.
So it's not a nuisance or anything or an eyesore. And and Jason and his crew have said that they, will keep it clean and those things. So, we just plan to have it as an available resource.
Right.
Any other discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Alderman Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Cross,
No.
Alderman Schugert,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock,
Yes.
Alderman Gillum,
No.
Vice Mayor Bear,
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Yes. Motion carries. Moves us into discussion consideration debt payoff and financial investments.
Make the motion.
To proceed with what's presented.
Yes.
A motion by Alderman Schugert,
Second.
second by Alderman Benstock. Floor is open for discussion for that.
So this is coming from me as a recommendation to do a few financial housekeeping matters. The first would be to pay off the sewer loan that's currently at $85,000 and some change. The interest rate on the loan is at 2.48% and it matures in 2 years. The money that we have in savings is earning 2.93 and the rates are continuing to decline. So it's reaching a point where it's not beneficial to keep the loan anymore. And I think we should pay it off, be debt-free completely in all funds, and then be able to invest our money that we've had set aside for reserves into the LGIP, which is earning over 4%. The second part would be to move some money from savings at the bank to LGIP, and then from checking to LGIP, so that we're maximizing that growing potential and not keeping so much in checking.
Further discussion on that? I mean, that's just being good stewards of the tax dollar there. Roll call, please.
Alderman Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Cross,
Yes.
Alderman Schugert,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock,
Yes.
Alderman Gillum,
Yep.
Vice Mayor Bear,
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Yes. Moves us into item number F, discussion and consideration 2026 meeting dates.
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Schugert,
Second.
second by Alderman Benstock. Floor is open for discussion.
So this was created based on the following year's calendar with the holidays taken into consideration. The November and December meetings for next year would be done just like they're being done this year, which is you would have a workshop one week, you would have a meeting the next week. The exact same way. We still are meeting on Thursday nights, same time, same location, all that. So nothing's changed other than those two meetings. The rest are at normal times as announced by the ordinance.
Roll call.
Alderman Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Cross,
Yes.
Alderman Schubert,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock,
Yes.
Alderman Gillum, Vice Mayor Bear,
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Yes. All right, so just again, want to appreciate everybody coming out tonight for this meeting, and got a few things to touch on. For one, appreciate the fire department for what they did with the school partnership recently. Really thought that worked out really well for all parties involved. If you look at the fire department report, Mitch has got a significant list of some stuff that they're doing in there, and I think it's showing that the investment that we're making in the personnel is really paying off. I think that could be true said about the looking at the financial aspect of it as well. Having Tyler to be able to find ways to continue to generate revenue or make smarter financial investments will continue to pay off, and appreciate that. Got a lot of great things going on, and just appreciate the workforce in this Thanksgiving season. I'm sure Alderman Shooter will talk about the stuff going on in December, so appreciate it. We'll move on to Vice Mayor Bear. Alderman Patrick?
No.
Alderman Cross?
No.
Alderman Shooter?
So we do have the Christmas tree lighting that is coming up on December 1st. It'll be out here on Main Street at 5:30, I believe is what time it is. Go back. Well, it's not on this one.
No, I think it's a 6. It's a 6.
December?
I'll have that in one second.
Yeah, we'll have that in just a second.
It's a 6.
6 o'clock, okay. I have it on my calendar as an all-day event for some reason. So that's coming up. That'll take place on Main Street.
Fourth graders.
Fourth graders will be performing, and volunteers, band will be performing as well. And then the signups, the fire department has a link on their Facebook page with the signups for the Christmas parade, and we are doing that in the evening as well this year. So, let's do.
And then the Santa Run will be
Yes, December
3rd.
20th.
20th.
Thank you.
Yes.
Starting at 8 o'clock in the morning with both fire trucks leaving on both opposite ends of town.
Yeah, we don't need them before then. So the Christmas parades are December 13th, Santa Run December 20th.
Yep.
So,
Alderman Benstock?
Tomorrow is the first anniversary of my having been sworn into this august body.
Well, that was a mistake.
Well, 10,000 people didn't think so. Thank you, guys. It's been a really interesting adventure so far. No, except for you, Mr. Gillum.
Thank you.
I'm gonna pass.
Alderman Gillum, anything?
No.
Entertain a motion, or I'm sorry.
I do.
We'll go ahead of myself there. We'll go ahead, Mr. Stokes.
So yesterday, myself, Vice Mayor Bear, and the fire chief and police chief went to Rogersville to meet with the Hawkins County Emergency Communications District. As you know, they're in a position where their revenue and expenditures are not aligning. I say all that to say they're throwing ideas around about how they get to a sustainable funding place. I think I have clarity from you, and I thought I had clarity before, and that was the message that I delivered while we were there. The only way that I think it would be fair and equitable for this county to fund it would be for the county to pay that and not have a resident of a incorporated area, town, city, whatever else, to be able to have to pay twice. And I was pretty adamant about that during the conversations. We will be having an additional meeting on December 3rd, where we'll try and refine some of those things. My plan is for me to go to that meeting as well, and continue to represent that. But I was adamant about the fact that our residents of the municipalities should not be billed twice for something. it was reinforced that the emergency communication district is not a county department, and that is correct. But they were formed as a quasi-governmental agency by the county in 1993. So I say all that, they had taxing authority up until 2014 when the Tennessee legislature took that away. And the reason that I was told that they took it away was because every emergency communication district was funding their operation differently and there was no control. So twofold, I think maybe re-entertaining at the legislative level of giving them the ability to do that. The second part is, and the county floated a public safety tax. I don't know that in concept that's something that we should weigh in on as the community here. We make decisions for the town of Mount Carmel, and what I will continue to do representing you all at these meetings is make sure that our residents are not double billed for something. They are already paying for services that in my opinion are essential services, and I had that discussion during that as well about making spending choices. And those spending choices are where the rubber meets the road. It's no different than what we do. You know, we don't frivolously spend money in this town, and I'm not saying that the county does that either. But what I am saying is that hard decisions have to be made by the elected boards. The trouble for this, to me, is passing it back to the local municipality is kind of putting the burden upon you all as the elected officials and our residents. And in my opinion, that is not right. So please correct me if I've misunderstood what your direction was. I will continue to represent and I will continue to report back. I have their budget, I have their proposals, so for the next couple of weeks I'll be poring over the numbers and doing some ciphering, and we'll have a pretty thoughtful conversation on December 3rd, I believe. Did I miss anything, Vice Mayor Bear?
No. Why don't they take the wheel tax and use that?
So I'm not going to get into the nuts and bolts of how they fund whatever they fund. I don't have authority or say in what the county chooses to do or how they choose to do it. But our block of residents that vote and things like that do. And my concern once again is it's a pay twice for one thing. So the emergency communications district touches every resident in this county. If they call 911, they go to a centralized receiving point. The intention of the 911 revenue that is generated as a state tax or an excise tax is meant for only answering 911. It is a permissive expense to dispatch as well. In the beginning, when they formed this ECD in Hawkins County, they chose to do all of those things. So all of those things were done without input from the municipalities that are participating. And what can happen, and it's very similar to what I talked to you all about with our utility board. The state utility advisory board told us we were upside down with our fees and such, where we're spending more than we're taking in. So that is what is going on with ECD. If they do that for 3 years, then the state can come in and take over, and basically they'll tell them to stop dispatching and only answer 911 calls. So as it sits, they have about a $900,000 deficit.
What's our representation on the 911 board?
We don't have anybody.
I
think everybody's appointed by the mayor of the county. I believe that's how the board is constructed. We don't have anybody from town that sits on that board. So and that's the other part of the conversation, is they want to create an advisory board with the municipalities that participate in the funding side. If you want a regional process, you include your partners at the table regardless of the funding mechanism, because what matters is the public receives the services, and I'm pretty sure that 911, EMS, fire, and police are essential services. Every community puts those as the priority, public safety. So I'm not trying to belittle what else they spend money on or whatever, but the mayor of the county was pretty adamant about, you know, how they contribute to, for lack of a better term, I'll call it arts and entertainment, or I'll call it arts and entertainment, or other quality of life things. The YMCA was one that he used as an example, and he was saying that we send money there. And my suggestion was, well, this is where you as an administrator will comb through the budget and say, here's things that we absolutely should be funding, here's things we should not. But what troubles me is we're constantly seeing a handhold out to take money from the residents and from the communities, because that's the other part of this. We're not paying for it as the community, we're paying from it from our residents. Our residents are paying for that, and it means they're paying for it twice. So that is a troubling.
So was the county mayor like receptive? Because I know from just reading the article that the Times News put out earlier, he had made the remark in regards to not wanting to put that burden on, so to speak, because didn't want to put the tax burden on the residents. So, but you're putting that tax burden on.
It's just transferring where the tax burden
municipalities.
is. That's exactly my point.
Because they don't want to do anything on the county level, they want to put it down on the municipalities.
Correct. So you raise your tax rates, or you make spending decisions in the local government that you don't do whatever priorities and plans that you have to fund this. And I mean, you all have made decisions directly in line with that. The local government is the one that provides services to people. The county generally is not a direct service provider, just like the state's not a direct service provider, or the federal government's not a direct service provider. The local government is the one that actually delivers direct service. Having 5, 10, 15 911 centers with primary answering points and things like that is ineffective. And I've been in situations where I've seen that. So the way they have it is very effective. The funding mechanism is what has to be resolved.
Do we know what the cost would look like if Mount Carmel, like what are?
I know what they proposed, and I don't want to share those things with you because they're all in their infancy. No, they're in their infancy, so the validity of them. They got together with CTAS. CTAS developed some things that are based on population or based on call volume. Call volume is better for us. Population is worse for us. And it goes anywhere from $130,000 contribution to $40,000 contribution. What I'm saying is we've got to get to a place, and so here's the deal. If we're going to participate as financial stewards here, then we're going to be on the front end of setting a budget as well. And I don't think an advisory committee is the appropriate way to do that. I think that the board should consist of regional partners. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, I don't know that they're interested in that. So, I didn't propose that at this meeting. I brought it up here because I want to get your feedback, because it is an idea of mine. And obviously, you all know my background is public safety, so I'm very familiar with this on a cellular level. And it's frustrating because it's about a decision-making process, period, from my perspective. And it's about spending priorities. And what the news got wrong was there isn't a revenue problem, there's a spending problem. And what that means is making choices about it's no different than what you all do. Right. You all choose to spend money on what we spend money on, and where we put our revenues and where we put our funds to make sure that we're sound. And everybody has to do that. But they're not screaming for a 911 department until they need a 911 department. Mm-hmm. Now the good news is only 10% of the population probably uses 911. But when they call 911, they want to know that the resources are going to rain down on them. correct? So we have to be in a position to do that.
But they already paid for it.
Well, and I'm not trying to say they should pay for things that aren't their responsibility, but we are all
equal across the board.
participating in that. Well, every resident is participating because 911 function and dispatch function, they're paying an availability fee, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
Because the availability of that is very important. Yes, sir.
One thing I just wanted to point out based off what you said, and this is based off the high number of 130, just that 130,000. When we, the property tax increase a few years ago was around 10 cents, and if I recall right, that generated around $126,000. Does that about sound about right?
Yep.
So with what the high number that they're proposing would essentially be 10 cents property tax increase in Mount Carmel. Is that a fair assessment? Would you say?
For something that they're already.
So a 10 cent property increase here, you know, you didn't talk about when it impacts the county. I think that the representation that we sent served us very well, and I'll save that any further comment. But I encourage you all to stay very on top of this, because this is that's a significant impact to our budget.
And just think of the other municipalities that strictly is going to impact as well. I mean, I know we're, you know.
So Hawkins County in this model that they proposed would double their contribution, because they're currently contributing 416,000. They would go to, on the population-based formula, they would go to 895,000, and on the population call volume-based formula, they would go to 980,000. And on the total cost per calls for service, it would go to 1,065,000 for the county share alone, from 416,000, which is what they provide now. Am I accurate?
Yep.
Okay.
And if I can just add one comment as a side note on that, as of right now, there'd be absolutely nothing guaranteed that they would get 800,000 from the county.
Correct.
Facts.
Just,
So you write that
just.
down.
I know I'm not trying to be quiet. I'm just saying that there's a whole. You've got to get 14 people to pass that budget.
Mm-hmm. And yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's so many factors that's assuming on at the number breaks that our number would break down to, that they have no control over, meaning the E911 board themselves. So to the assumption of $800,000 of funding coming from the county, take that as well, or for you all, that's that has to go through the whole commission before that just becomes a thing. So the number could drastically change if the commission was unwilling to fund it. So that's where you're looking at the impact that it would have on the municipalities. From Churchill, us, Sir Lawrenceville, would have drastic impact at the end of the day on the taxpayer versus it would to a county resident. When if we weren't here, if this municipality was not here, that same call would go to the same contact center to be dispatched, using the same equipment. So it's I encourage this board to stay very on top of this, and I appreciate the representation that we had the other day down there.
Very much.
And I'm getting passionate, so I'm gonna stop.
So we'll continue down this road with solutions.
It's basically taxation without representation. We saw how well that worked out before.
That's what I was. There it is.
Exactly.
So one other thing that was talked about, and Vice Mayor Bear actually recommended this, was the true gap between the 911 funding and the cost for the department budget is about $500 and something thousand, roughly. So we talked about making up that difference on a graduated scale, but getting to a place where something makes a little more sense, because what they're talking about numbers wise is they need to plan ahead, they need to do capital improvement, replacement, all of those things. I don't think they've done any of those things. The other thing that they have to do that they have not done since 1993 was they have to enter into interlocal agreements with all of us. Now, the only interlocal agreement that they have is with the county. That's why the sheriff's department, the EMS department, and the county volunteer fire departments in unincorporated are incorporated under their cost, I guess. So they wouldn't pay anything as individual communities. Ironically, we're a volunteer fire department as well. So are many others. Churchill, Sirgoinsville, I mean, none of us are paid fire departments here in town. So the conversation is going to be healthy, just so you all know. But I just wanted to make sure I was going down the right road. Look, I'm not mad about it. I'll represent, but at the end of the day, this problem is going to have to be solved. And there may be other ways for this problem to be solved, and I'm going to kind of explore some of them too. I'd rather not talk about them right now because I'm still pondering them in my mind of how we approach that and how we strive toward it. But we're definitely in a good place. We have some great leadership in the fire and the police department that are putting their brain together on this too. And I will keep you all informed as we go forward. That I promise you. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Is that all you had tonight?
That is all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want more?
No. So we'll move on to Tyler. Anything?
I'm good.
Alan?
Nothing, thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Sugar, second by Alderman Vinstock. All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody have a great night.